Hello everybody. I was thinking of making this video to talk about the programmingfoundation.org, the domain itself, and also touch on the subject of the podcast and talk about the operating system, and also talk about one small script that I'm gonna open source very soon. So for the last 2 or 3 months, actually 4 months, the programmingfoundation.org domain was not accessible, and after investigating the case, I realized that I forgot to renew the domain. It was supposed to be automatic, but for some reason the domain didn't renew. So in that case, I lost the domain. It was on probation or something. I guess it's I forgot the term, but it was something like that. So it was a redemption, domain redemption. Yeah, that's the thing. I was thinking of using programmingfoundation.org instead of the programmingfoundation.org, which is smaller, easily typable. At least reduces 3 characters on the domain. So right now, programmingfoundation.org is fully accessible. That's one of the things. Although the website is still the same, I haven't had the time to update the website itself and put contents on that, just because I already told about it that it's going to be a slow process, and it takes time to create or write contents which are very specific and friendly to people who are new to this kind of programming topics. So that was the update of programmingfoundation.org. The second update is on the podcast. I didn't actually decide the name of the podcast, but then I realized that I want something that is super simple. So one of the best decision was to just go to my GitHub and see what my username is, which is bootkernel, and I just put bootkernel's podcast as the name. The first episode is already out, although, as I mentioned earlier, that there might be some sort of inconsistency on when the episode is going to come out, since it's all about scheduling with the people and making common grounds on what we're going to talk about. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is that that one project that it's actually a project, but it's a very super small fun project that I made back like 4, 5 or 6, 7 months ago, probably like starting January 2019. That's when I had that idea of that project. As I was learning some web automation technologies, and I was thinking of building a project that related to that, and also something about Python. Super simple project, but pretty fun. I'm actually giving a talk soon on that project, and I'm gonna make it open source as well. So that's one of the things. I'm not gonna talk about what the project exactly is. So that was one of those fun projects that I actually did. And even though all my works, that includes the books, the 2 books, and also my previous talks, all of them talk about operating systems, and I'm a operating system. I like operating systems in general. So since I'm building one for a long time, but I also thought that it might also be nice if I also talk about some of the projects that I often don't talk about. Program Foundation was one of them, but this fun little things that I'm doing sometimes just for educational purposes or something, or just for my own knowledge, I thought of talking about this, which would be useful to some people, and for the open source community as well. I think open source is one of those things that you cannot ignore. Big companies are pushing open source and utilizing open source to harness the power of it. So that was it. This is a very small video and there's nothing special going on, but that's the main idea. And regarding that short mention that I did on my last update video, was that I'm actually writing a script, and I actually wanted to talk about that script in general, but I want to talk about some of the elements and also topics that I'm trying to touch in the movie. And I might actually create an episode in bootkernel's podcast to explore some of these ideas, some of these concepts, which I think is very interesting. So yeah, that's the overall idea. Again, but I'm still working on the operating system. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of studies, and I think since that's my main goal. But this video was to update mainly about the program foundation, since that's that was halted for 4 to 5 months. So yeah, programfoundation.org is up and running, but the content is the same. I'm going to have to redesign some of the portions to make it more user friendly in some sense, and make it more accessible to developing economies. Like India, for instance, have a lot of Android phones, or the Android usage. That sounds very basic, but Android usage in India is very high. So a lot of people can access a website like that in mobile format, which is currently also accessible, but it's not as optimized as it is. I'm also considering to use Google's AMP, which I think is a very nice project, and it's a pretty powerful tool to make things smaller and more efficient in that way. So Google AMP might be some of the things that one of those things that I might actually use on programfoundation.org. So that's the update on the Program Foundation. And I already talked about the podcast, and that was it. Thank you.